You know the drill. You try to do everything right. You stay in bed for 8 full hours, and you still wake up feeling like a zombie with a bad Wi-Fi connection. We often treat sleep like a bank account, assuming that a deposit of time automatically yields a return of energy. But the body doesn't calculate recovery in minutes or hours. Real recovery requires your brain frequency to slow into delta waves. This is the buffering state where the body spikes growth hormone, files away memories, and washes toxic waste out of the brain cells. Without reaching this specific delta wave threshold, the total duration of your sleep becomes functionally irrelevant to how you feel the next morning. If this buffering state is so vital to keeping us functional, why does the brain so often choose to bypass it? The human brain continuously monitors environmental and internal signals to determine if it is safe to completely disengage from the surroundings. If the timing hormone cortisol remains elevated, a small center in your brainstem called the locus ceruleus stays active. This keeps the brain in a state of high alert monitoring, even while the rest of the cortex tries to power down. When this happens, your body stays still, but your brain remains trapped in a fragmented, vigilant loop. You are resting, but you aren't recovering. Chronic exhaustion marks a system stuck in survival mode, where the brain's biological alarm system remains active despite physical rest. We cannot use willpower to force the brain to stand down. Instead, we have to provide the specific physiological signals that override the threat monitoring system. The brain needs a 1-degree core temperature drop to signal it's safe for deep sleep. A warm shower causes vasodilation, pushing heat from your core to your skin. Stepping out causes rapid evaporation, pulling your core temperature down immediately past the deep sleep threshold. This rapid cooling acts as a physiological signal that forces the circadian clock to suppress cortisol and allow the brain to transition into a restorative state. Even with the right temperature, psychological signals can still block delta waves. When we leave the day's complex problems unresolved, the brain continuously runs predictive simulations to prepare for tomorrow. Mentally tracking a backlog of tasks keeps the prefrontal cortex wired. This internal friction maintains high alertness, signaling to the system that it is not yet safe to shut down. You can deactivate this loop through cognitive offloading. During a 90-minute wind-down, physically write down your tasks for tomorrow and their immediate solutions. Externalizing these thoughts creates a safe state for your working memory, effectively moving the data out of the brain's active processing centers. This physical record proves to the prefrontal cortex that the threat is contained, allowing the brain to safely disengage. The final step is removing the environmental noise that scrambles these safety signals. For many, this starts with the caffeine consumed hours before bed. Caffeine blocks adenosine, the molecule that builds up throughout the day to create the sleep pressure required for delta waves. Protecting your sleep architecture requires a hard caffeine cutoff by 2 p.m. to ensure those receptors are clear by bedtime. Digital screens present the second form of interference, emitting concentrated blue light directly into the eyes. These specific blue wavelengths strike the circadian clock and simulate daylight. This halts the release of melatonin, the hormone responsible for timing the entire sleep cycle. Protecting the brain's natural chemistry requires treating late-night digital screens and caffeine as the biological disruptions they are. Deep sleep is an emergent biological response that occurs when the brain confirms the environment is safe. The system only permits entry into this restorative phase when it registers an absolute absence of environmental and psychological threats. Chronic exhaustion is the logical outcome of a brain that receives the wrong physiological inputs. Reclaiming energy requires shifting the architecture, dropping your core temperature, clearing cognitive loops, and eliminating the interference keeping the alarm system active. By mastering these precise biological signals, you allow the system to stand down, transforming a fragmented night into total physiological restoration.